As I mentioned before, my name is Cyrus Hiatt. I'm a developer with Farallon Geographics, and today I'm going to talk about what we're calling the Arches Search Extension. Uh, the Arches Search Extension is actually part of a larger project, and that's the GCI's Rascals application. Now, Rascals application, Rascals stands for Reference and Sample Collections. And Rascals is used to manage collections of reference items, which can be used as a baseline for comparison of properties from, say, a painting or a sculpture. And one of the requirements for Rascals is that we build it for Arches 8.2, which is the long-term support release, which is going to be coming out in December. And we are also building it using Vue and MapLibre, simply because that is the current direction of Arches. And one of the key features of the Arches search extension was through relationship search. And what I mean by through relationship search is being able to query for for resources based on the properties of their related resources. So maybe I'm looking for documents that were written about a particular building, um, and or maybe by a particular person about a particular building. And so I would need to be able to search across those relationships to get that information. And we had attempted to implement through relationship search using Elasticsearch in several different ways, and there were always significant drawbacks. So when we started working on this, we took a look at using Postgres for the relationship search, and we found it much easier. So then we had to consider whether we wanted to continue with Elasticsearch or adopt Postgres as our search engine. And we decided to go with Postgres because of this issue with through relationship search, but also because without Elasticsearch, the deployment is much easier because we don't have to worry about installing Elasticsearch or Java. And then in the future, we don't have to worry about upgrading Elasticsearch or Java. And another advantage is that Elasticsearch is great, but it's a memory hog. It requires at least 2 GB of memory by default. And so by not using Elasticsearch, our Arches application would have a much lighter memory footprint. And that translates to lower costs because we don't need such a robust server. And additionally, there are fewer security concerns. Not that there are any current concerns with Elasticsearch or Java. It's just by not having so many dependencies, we reduce the surface area of security issues. So in that sense, we have a little bit less to worry about. Um, and then another advantage to using Postgres is that Postgres and PostGIS have more sophisticated geospatial query options than Elasticsearch. And we're not using those right now, but it's quite likely that we will want to in the future. So we're calling this Arches search extension, so I thought I would explain what an extension is. But before I get to defining extension, I need to actually define what an Arches application is. We're using the term Arches application to describe a self-sufficient Arches application. And by that, I mean an application that has its own models, it has its own controlled vocabularies. Examples of this would be Arches for HERs and Arches for Science, Lingo as well. You can use these applications as they are, or you can build upon them for your own projects, making whatever customizations you need. And that is distinct from an extension because an extension is just a unit of functionality that extends an app. So, for example, arches controlled lists is an extension. You can have arches without arches controlled lists, or you can decide to install that separately. The same thing with arches modular reports. If you decide you want to use modular reports, instead of the reports that ship with arches, you can install the arches modular reports extension. And very likely in the future, the graph designer, bulk data manager, and the image service manager are, you know, are all features that will likely become extensions as we move toward a more modular arches and an arches built with Vue. So why did we decide to make this search an extension rather than just modifying the current search? One big advantage is just the independent installation. Um, if you don't want it, it can be uninstalled. Um, you might not have decided to install it in the first place. And it can be upgraded without upgrading all of Arches. So as new features come out in an extension, you can upgrade just the extension without having to go through a full Arches upgrade to get those new features. And then another advantage is that it can be swapped with an alternative. So if you wanted to develop a search maybe against a triple store, you could replace the Arches search extension with your triple store search, or you could have your triple store search live alongside the Arches search extension. So that's just very flexible in that way. And then another advantage of extensions is that they can be customized and configured independently of Arches. The configurations that for Arches search extensions for, say, modular reports are stored in the tables that belong to the extension and not in the tables in core Arches. So again, that makes it easier to upgrade the extension without having to upgrade all of Arches. And configurability is one of the main aspects that we had in mind in designing the Arches search extension. And one of the key areas of configurability is the layout and the dashboard. And I'll just show you one of the mock-ups real quick for this because we haven't developed this feature yet. When you first go to the Arches search extension, you will be greeted by a kind of dashboard interface. And this is configurable in the sense that you will be able to decide what resource types you want to show here and how you want to describe them. You might not want this kind of dashboard interface at all. Maybe you want pie charts or bar charts, so you could replace this with a charting kind of dashboard, or maybe you don't want so much, that kind of a dashboard. Maybe you want to map something similar to current search. So you could replace this entire component with a map component. Another way in which Arch's search extension is configurable is in the search results, which are driven by modular reports. And so let me just scroll down here to a search result. And so you can see here in the search result, each one of these is actually a modular report. And the thing about modular reports is that you can define in the configuration of a report what nodes get displayed and how. And each report can differ for each model type. So the way that your results will appear for one kind of resource might be different than they appear for another. And this is very different from current search because in current search, you can't really change or modify the way that search results are displayed. Another way that we're using modular reports is in the expansion of the search results. So if you want details about a result, this is a modular report as well. All of this can be configured with JSON, and the way that this appears can be different from for one resource type than for another. I'd like to go more into modular reports, that could actually be a presentation for the interest group itself at another time. Um, Another thing that is configurable in the Arches search extension are node filters. Node filters are, they provide a way to filter on node values, and you can do this in current search using advanced search, but the implementation is a bit different in Arch's search extension. Um, and I'm going to actually show you the Arches search extension in its current state of development. And I just want to point out, as a kind of a disclaimer, we are still very early in its development, and so the UI still needs quite a bit of work, and some of the features will change significantly over the coming months. So just bear that in mind. You're getting a bit of an early sneak peek here. I'm gonna over here and pull up the application. What is this here? Just refresh. And so node filters, if I start by selecting a resource type here, this is the reference and sample collection item model. I get my filters button here. And right now I have this configured with only two nodes, the color node and the mixture node. And if I open up the mixture node, this is a controlled vocabulary, and there are four options. And let's say I want to search reference and sample collection items. I want to look for those that have organic mixtures, so organic inorganic mixture or organic and just completely purely organic mixtures. So you can see I get 1,305 results back. This is an OR operator here, so I'm searching for results that are either organic or inorganic or just organic. I can uncheck this and you can see I get fewer results and then more when I recheck it. And this works with the other search filters as well, so I can search on cobalt. And so now I have just 49 results. So those are node filters. Another key feature is node sorting. We haven't implemented this feature yet, but basically you'll be allowed to sort your results based on the properties of a node. So currently you can only sort by the name of a resource alphabetically, but once we have this feature fully implemented, you'll be able to pick from a configured list of nodes and sort your results based on their color or their mixture or any other node in the reference and sample collection item model that you want to expose as a sortable node. Another configuration option will be export formats. In current search, the export formats are not mutable. You can't remove them, you can't add new ones, and you can't change the formats. You can override the template if you're a developer, and you can hide some of the stuff, but you can't really change anything. And that will be different in the Archer search extension because we are building the export formats as bulk data manager modules. So if I open the export tab, we have just one module right now. This is a simple module for really for rascals. But it's used right now in search, but it could also be used in the bulk data manager. And likewise, when we're done with this feature, You'll be able to add tile Excel and branch Excel or any other format that is written for the bulk data manager. So if you want to write your own bulk data manager format, that can be included here as well. Um, so in addition to configurability, we're also taking a new approach to saved searches. Um, Current search also has saved searches, but the admin needs to set up the saved searches as part of the system settings. In the Arches search extension, you can save a query directly in search. And instead of it being available to all users, you can save a query by user or by group. So if I go back over to the extension, I can come over here and click the Save This Search button. And I am searching on cobalt and organic. And I can save that search. And if I go over to Save Searches, there it is. And if I refresh the page, I can open up my saved searches and I can run my query. And there we go, it restores my query. And we don't have this implemented yet, but soon you'll be able to, or at least the plan is, to allow users to save searches and then share them with others. And you'll be able to see the searches that are shared with you, which is basically saving searches by group, really. Um, and then another feature that we're planning on introducing is the concept of saved result sets. The kind of saved search that I just showed is what we're calling a dynamic query. A saved result set would be a snapshot of a particular query. So let's say you ran a query in January and you got 50 results back. And then you ran the same query in February and you got 100 results back. You could refer back to that original set and see which 50 you got and compare them to the 100 that you got in February to see the difference. So that's the kind of one of the advantages of having result sets rather than a dynamic query, because a dynamic query will just rerun the query each time, but a result set will allow you to compare snapshots of a given query. So another improvement that we've made to search in the extension is in terms of the map. We're building with MapLibre instead of Mapbox. We've been kind of locked into the same version of Mapbox for quite a few years now, and that's because Mapbox changed their licensing. They used to be open source, but then they changed their license for newer versions to a proprietary format. So we have not been, or proprietary license. So we haven't been able to upgrade. And so in the future, we're moving to MapLibre so that we can use a more modern framework that has new and some really nice features. And it's also more secure than the older version of Mapbox that we've been using. And we're also supporting multi-geometry search. So in current search, if you do a geometry search, you can only use one feature in your search. And with the Arches search extension, you can use multiple geometries. So I have these two geometries here, and I can move one, and I can move the other to update my search. So that's pretty cool. And then another benefit of, or another feature in the Arches search extension is that you can see the result layer here. So in current search, we only show you the results in the current page of results. But in the Arches search extension, we are able to show all of the results. This is also another benefit to moving away from Elasticsearch and using Postgres that really helped us implement this feature. Uh, Now, another thing that we wanted to do for search that we've implemented in the Arches search extension is filter groups. So in current search, in the advanced search, you can search based on a number of, you can combinations of node properties, and you can use operators in between those properties. But there's a little bit of ambiguity in the way this is set up because you may assume that you're searching on items that have glass and are blue, or are made of lead and are the color yellow. But because we don't have parentheses around these, you could assume that it might be possible that what you really expect is for all of your results to have yellow because of this and yellow. In the Arches search extension, we make that explicit. So we add these parentheses. So we very explicitly request results that have the property glass and are blue, or have a combination of lead and are yellow. And we can change the operators and keep the parentheses to change the way that the kind of results that we expect. And so I'll just show you this in advanced search right now. I come over here. And so this is that query in the Arches search extension advanced search. So what we're looking at right now is a query against the reference and sample collection item model. We want reference items that have the name with the term glass in the name node, and are the color blue on the color node. Or we want reference items that have the word lead in the name and are yellow. But we can change this simply by clicking the operator. We can change this to an and an or here to get this second kind of query. Excuse me. This is where we started. We started with this one, glass and blue or lead and yellow. So this is glass and blue or lead and yellow. And we can flip this operator and change this to or to get this second one. So this is glass and blue and lead or yellow. So all of our results will have to have this combination of glass and blue, and we'll either have to have the word lead in the name or have the value yellow for the color. And while I'm showing you advanced search, I will show you through relationship search. So in this case, I have a reference item, sawdust, and sawdust has a photo, and that photo was taken by Art Kaplan. And I also have a reference item, cobalt violet deep, and it also has a photo, and that photo was taken by Catherine. And so I want to query my system for all reference items that have photos, and then I want to specify who the photographer is. So if I go back to advanced search, let me refresh. I'll go to the advanced search page. And so now I'm going to search for reference and sample collection items. And if I search, then I get all of my reference and sample collection items. And now I want just those that have documents associated with them, or photos. And so I add this relationship filter, and then I pick the digital resources type for documents, and I'll just pick the digital source node, and I want at least one one tile that will match this query. And so if I do the search, then I'm getting all reference and sample collection items that have a document associated with them, and I get 3. And now I want to know all of those that have all of those reference and sample collection items that have digital resources that have a person associated with them. So I can add another relationship filter and select the person resource model. I'm going to pick the creator node. And again, at least one record must match, one tile must match. And if I do that again, then I get just those 2 resources that I pointed out earlier. And now I want to know which of these was created by Art. And so I can add a filter to this relationship query. And I'll pick the name is like Art and do my search. And I get just that one that was created by Art. And I can change this to Catherine. And I will get Catherine's results here. And if I'm curious, I can click this describe query button, and I will get a SQL query that represents this query in the Archer search extension. I can get a natural language explanation of the query. And then for developers, I can get the payload. This is what goes back to the backend, which is helpful for developers that want to develop additional interfaces for the Archer search extension. All right, so the timeline for the Archer search extension, we are currently releasing early alphas. So for developers, we already have what you've currently seen on PyPI, but this is really for development only. So if you're interested in helping out, you can install those. This is kind of a rough estimate, but we're anticipating a beta probably in fall, and then a 1.0 release I think will be available in December, accompanying the 8.2.0 release. And again, we're still in the early stages of development, so some of the features that I've talked about today will um, um, maybe change significantly. Oops. I wanted to mention the future of current search. We are not right now replacing current search. Current search and Elasticsearch will be available in Arches in 8.2, and 8.2 will be supported until 2029. So, if you made customizations to search and you love Elasticsearch, you can continue to use it. And probably by V9 in 2027, we will move current search to an extension. So it would still be available, but it just won't ship with the Arches installation of core Arches. It'll have to be installed separately. And that's all I have. If you have any questions that don't get answered today, you can email me at chiat@fargeo, and then I'm also available on the forum if you have questions. So that's it. Thank you.